guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We are going to be doing a ranking video. I have to say, in the entire 2 years that I have been a beauty and lifestyle channel, I don't ever think I've done a video like this before, so I thought this would be something a little different that we can do. And what we're going to be doing today is ranking all of my Nomad palettes. I have 7 palettes. Clearly I don't have everything that they have launched, but I thought that it would be fun to do a little ranking of these. As you guys know, this is one of my favorite independent brands, so that is what we're going to do today. I'm going to bring the camera down and do a close-up of the table. I figured that would be an easier way for you guys to see the palettes a little bit close up and a little more clear. So let's go ahead and jump into this ranking. Alright guys, let's jump into this ranking. Like I said, I have 7 palettes. I'm actually filming this video in front of a window with natural light instead of my ring light. Maybe we can get more of a natural, better, clear look at these palettes. I already know that palette number 7, the one that's going to be on the bottom of the ranking, is this one. This is the Home for the Holidays palette. This was their launch from last year, 2021. You have this little glitter finish on the front. There's snowflake details on the side. It's not a bad palette, but the main reason why I rank this one on the bottom is because, as you can see, this is an all shimmer foil metallic palette. The only shade in here that's not is the shade here in the corner. This is the only matte. Everything else in the palette is, like I said, a shimmer metallic foil. It's a beautiful formula. I love the way that they perform and the way that they look on the eyelids, but because it is an all, shimmer foil type formula, it's not very versatile. Unless you're wanting to do an all shimmer look, this is going to be more of a companion palette. You're not going to really be able to use it as a standalone, but for that reason, that's why I have it on the bottom. All right, now for the next 3. I have 3 here that I want to kind of pull out and look at first. Just kind of look at them up close to decide where I want to rank them. We have the Worcester Lodge palette. This one is the newest to their collection. This one was in collaboration with Worcester Lodge. There's some beautiful blues in here. You have some grungy greens, this little gold shimmer here. And then we have this one, which is the Iceland Fire and Ice palette. This is the color story for this one. As you can see, there are some blues in here as well. And then this one is the Haunted Europe palette. This was their Halloween themed palette for last year. As you can see, this one has kind of a shifting cover, which is really cool. And then this is the color story for this one. What I'm thinking out of these 3, I think this one I'm going to put as number 6. Of these 3 palettes, this is the one that I would be least likely to pull. Don't get me wrong, the formula is beautiful, but the biggest issue that I had was with this blue shade right here. In all of the other palettes, the blue shades I don't have any issue with blending out, but this one I had a little bit of trouble with. It was kind of patchy, and just overall this color story is not the one that just really excites me. It doesn't, as far as the color stories in the other palettes are concerned, this one is probably the least likely that I'm going to reach for, so this is going to come in number 6. All right, number 5, I think I'm going to rank, this is tough. I think I'm going to rank the Haunted Europe palette in the number 5th place. I love these greens, but in reality, I'm more likely to pull this palette than I am this palette. Like I said, I do love this green. The shimmers in here are really pretty. You have some really pretty kind of grungy oranges. But of these 2 palettes, if I had to pick, I know that I am more likely to choose and pull out this one than I am this one. So we're going to rank this one number 5. So that puts in the number 4th spot the Fire and Iceland palette. I really love the blues in this palette. This shade right here, I had no problem blending at all. Everything blends so beautifully, and I feel like there's a little versatility in this palette as far as what you can do. Got this little pop of kind of a teal bluey green shade here, the orangey red shade in the middle. This red shade right here, this is absolutely stunning. There's also a couple of shifty shades. This one kind of shifts, kind of a blue to purple. The shade in the corner right here is a little bit shifty too. Overall, between this palette and the Haunted Europe palette, this is the one that I'm more likely to pull. So we're going to rank this one number 4. Coming in number 3 is going to be the American Parks palette. This palette is themed after, you know, the different national parks in the U.S. I love this packaging. And the main reason why I rank this one higher than the other ones, these beautiful greens in here, these beautiful kind of grungy tones in here, this grungy kind of looking purple. Overall, I feel like this has a very grungy, earthy kind of a feel to it, and I love tones like that. I love that color story. I just kind of love the colorway that we got going on here. These shimmers in here are absolutely stunning. You have these in the middle that kind of look like, I guess, like mountains, I suppose. All 3 of them are just absolutely stunning. I love this shade right here. This shade right here has a really pretty shift to it. It is just absolutely stunning. Everything about this palette is gorgeous. And with that, we're going to rank this number 3. We're just flying right through this ranking video. Let's move on to number 2. And in the number 2 place, the runner-up is going to be my Nomad Tokyo Harajuku palette. This is the Japanese themed palette. I love this packaging. It is so freaking adorable. It is so pretty. This whole kawaii theme that we have going on. This, I think, was the very first palette that I ever got from Nomad. I got this, I think, early last year. I did do a video on it. It was not a new palette when I purchased it. I just thought that it was just so super cute. With the adorable, you know, kawaii themed, I just had to have it. This one is more of a pastel themed palette, as you can see. You have these beautiful, super bright, fun tones. They're all pretty pigmented, even the ones that are kind of lighter, like this one or this one here. This is kind of, I think, the more satiny matte formula that they were doing before. I think the formula that they're doing now is like a straight matte. It's not the satin. I have to say that I enjoyed the satin formula just a little bit more. I felt like it was a little more creamy, it was a little more blendable, but I think one of the reasons why people didn't like it was because it's also more of a sheer formula, so you have to kind of build it up a little bit, which I don't mind. You know, for me, a formula doesn't have to be like super pigmented as soon as you put it on your eyelid. I don't mind if you have to build it up. Those type of formulas work really well for people who are like beginners, you know, learning the process. You know, they don't want something that's like too super pigmented right off the bat. But just overall, the color story, the colorway, everything about this palette is beautiful and stunning. These are some of my favorite shimmers of all of the Nomad palettes. This entire palette is just absolutely stunning. The kawaii themed, everything about it is just perfection. That is why I ranked it number 2. So that brings us to the number 1 palette in this ranking, and that is going to be the Cartagena Magica palette. If you guys know anything about me, then you can probably guess why I chose this palette as number 1. My absolute favorite eyeshadow shade, my favorite color to use for eyeshadow, blush, lips, period, is orange. And as you can see, this is an orange lover's dream. It is absolutely beautiful. Any look involving orange I could do with this palette. If I had to get rid of all of my other orange toned palettes and this is the only one that I had left in my collection, I would be perfectly happy. All the oranges in here, they're like so many like different tones. The shimmers in here are absolutely incredible. You also have some oranges in here. There are some pink tones in here along the bottom. What can I say? I love orange. I love Nomad's formula, and this palette right here brings both of those things together in one, and that is why I ranked it number 1. So let's go ahead and do a real quick kind of rundown of this ranking. In number 7, we have the Home for the Holidays palette. Coming in 6th place, we have the Whistler Lodge palette. Number 5 is the Haunted Europe palette. Number 4, we have the Fire and Ice palette. Number 3, we have the American Parks palette. The runner-up, the Tokyo Harajuku palette. And then coming in number 1 is the Cartagena Mahika palette. Alright guys, so that is the end of this ranking video. If you enjoyed it, let me know. I would love to do more content like this. It's a little something different from my channel that I have not done before. If you like these types of videos and you're enjoying my content, be sure to give the video a thumbs up. It really does help my channel. If you are new to my channel and you are not already subscribed, I would love it if you would consider joining my little family and hitting subscribe. And make sure you tap the notification bell down below so you get notifications of any videos I have coming up in the future. And don't forget to follow me on my other socials as well. I'm on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. Be safe, take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one.